That concludes another amazing lunch at my sister's house. It's really good to see those guys. I mean, they're such a good couple, aren't they? They seem so happy together. Why can't we aim for something like that? You know what I mean, Rob? I mean, they're so affectionate and passionate for each other. And take a look at the house, too. It must be so much fun living in a place like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to sit here and deny that your sister doesn't have a really good situation. I mean, there can't be much to complain about if you were married to a guy like Ben. At the same time, is that honestly the type of relationship you want to admire? I mean, let's take a look at them on paper. Ben basically works until he can exhaust every little brain cell that he has just to earn money for his family. He's really devoted to making sure that he's going to create a great environment for his kids. I can't really say that your sister Ellie has the same mindset.
Oh, come on. Are you serious right now? I mean, sure, I know that Ben really likes to work hard, but you don't think that my sister has her heart into it as well?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I just don't get that impression. You put those two together and there's such a stark difference between them. Your sister is always wearing something incredibly fancy, something flashy to show everyone. I see a lot of designer brands in her possession. She quite enjoys being able to flaunt it as well. On the other hand, let's take a look at the guy that she's married to, Ben. I mean, I feel kind of bad for him. He just looks like your average guy. He doesn't look like he spends a penny on himself. It just all goes to his wife. I'm really wondering what happened to this dynamic here. I mean, this can't be a healthy relationship.
Are you kidding me right now? Look at the smile on Ellie's face. You're going to tell me that that's not a happy relationship? A good relationship is one where you're keeping the wife happy. You could learn a thing or two from them. Why don't you try to find out what it is that Ben is doing to make Ellie happy? That's the best way for us to have a healthy and functioning relationship.
Okay, so basically what you're telling me is that you want me to be sitting there working like a dog for you all day, tending to your every need. Whatever you want, I have to go get it. If you told me that you wanted the crown jewels, then I wouldn't be able to argue against it. If that's what's going to make you happy, that's what I have to do. That's pretty much what you're getting at, right?
Yeah. You know what? That's actually spot on. That's exactly what you should do. I'm glad you're getting the picture so quickly.
This better be a joke, Ellie. But you know what? If you ask me, we already have that system in place from the get-go. You and I made the decision that I would be the one bringing in the money and you'd be the one to use it. I don't really have time to manage our finances. I expect you to be doing that type of thing for me.
Yep. You get me to handle the money and everything else in our lives. I don't need to be reminded of it every day. I mean, whether it be raising the child or taking care of the house, I'm the one that has to do it. Do you know how they do it at my sister's house? She doesn't even have to look after the kids. They've got maids and stuff doing that. They don't give the kids any attention at all. Can't you just see how dreamy that is? It must be so awesome living there.
Okay. So you want to live that lifestyle at the detriment of our children? Don't you care about how they feel at all?
Well, hey, I'd say that they feel pretty awesome being pampered all day. I mean, just imagine it. They don't have to listen to their annoying parents. That's every kid's dream. They just get to hang out with the people that take care of them. These are people that are going to shower them, feed them, clean up after them. You know what? Even when they're adults, they'll probably even write their resumes for them. They're set for life. If you're a real father, you would wish that future for our children.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I don't see that as the ideal home for our children. I actually care about a proper bond between the child and the parent. It's good that you stay home taking care of them. I mean, I know you might see it as a pain at times, but we're contributing to their future. It's a good thing for them.
Yeah. Well, their future better mean a lot to them. I mean, do they know how much I'm sacrificing? I'm not getting any younger. All of this child-raising stuff is just adding gray hairs on top of gray hairs.
Come on, Ellie. Settle down. You're not that old.
Says the guy that's taking sneak peeks at the younger girls out there. You start controlling yourself and your impulses, and then I'll believe a word that you say. Until then, I need to do something to maintain my good looks, and I'm telling you right now, looking after those brats isn't helping me.
Look at the way you talk about them. You're actually going to call the kids brats now? Come on, Ellie. Don't take it that far. They're still young. And there's nothing wrong with them. They're pretty good kids.
Yeah, right. What part of them are good? I mean, they get on my nerves all the time. I don't want to sit here and start praising my sister and her family all the time, but take a look at them. I mean, the kids are so well behaved. They don't bother us at all. We're able to have that lunch in peace. They were so calm and tranquil. Then compare them to our kids. What a nightmare! They jump around all over the place. They're overly excited. They can never calm themselves down. They always want to be doing something. They're really hard to deal with. I wish they would just shut up and learn to entertain themselves like Ellie's kids do.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Our kids can be quite a rowdy bunch. It's not the easiest to take care of them. But at the same time, I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, I see a bit of myself in all of them. All of that energy probably comes from me. I remember how I was when I was a kid. I mean, people would be saying the same thing about me. Too much energy, I don't know how to calm myself down. I needed to find some sort of output for myself so I wasn't burdening the people around me. At the same time, that energy turned out to be something good. I mean, I was incredibly gifted at sports. I would never get tired. I was always enjoying myself. Everyone loved to talk to me. These are some really good qualities. I'm pretty sure as the kids get older, they're going to be like this. What we're going to have to do is nurture them.
Yeah, well, how come they don't start being that way now instead of when they're older? I mean, surely they can just sit quietly, can't they? Especially at a lunch where my sister is judging me.
Well, hey, I don't know about you, but I don't see Ellie's children as these fantastic little creatures either. I mean, sure, they'll keep quiet. They won't be doing anything to disturb other people, but you really have to wonder what they get up to on those iPads. I mean, these are your nieces and nephews that we're talking about. Don't you kind of feel sorry for them? Don't you want them to open up and have some sort of relationship with you? I'm not even related to them, and I kind of want to get to know them. I want to know what they get up to at school. It's like I'm talking to a brick wall with them.
Are you kidding me right now? Do you really think I want to sit there wasting my time talking to a bunch of little kids? Like, come on. They aren't at the mental age for us to enjoy our conversation. I already hear enough childish conversations from my own kids. They're just so silly and immature. Like, how many times do they have to joke about farting? Is it really that funny?
Well, for kids their age, it is quite funny, actually. There's nothing abnormal about that. As a mother, I thought you would at least accept things for the way they are. Anyway, I don't really see everything that you're complaining about right now as an issue. Are you seriously going to sit there putting them down? They're just being kids. That's the way they socialize. That's what they find funny. I'm pretty sure that's what their peers are going to be talking about. I don't want to keep putting down your sister's kids, but they look like a bunch of drones that don't do anything but just look at that iPad. I mean, have you actually seen them? Their eyes are basically glued to it. I've never seen them blink. It's kind of scary. Even you have to admit that.
Wow, Rob. You're amazing. You truly are amazing. I mean, you can't even admit that there's an issue in our family. It hurts your pride too much. So you just go out of your way to insult my sisters instead? That's real tough. I bet you think you're such a big man, don't you?
That's not what I'm doing at all. I just want you to realize that their family isn't as amazing as you think they are. I mean, even you have to admit that, right? They're not exactly perfect. I don't care how big the house is. I don't care how many fancy clothes Ellie gets to put on herself. I don't care how many maids they have running around to satisfy every whim of their children. There are still some issues in that household, and I don't envy them in the least.
Yeah, well, if I'm being honest, I think what they have is pretty amazing. I mean, let's take a look at the facts. You and Ben work in the same company, right? I know you guys are in different departments and whatever, but you basically earn the same amount of money. There's not much separating you from him.
That's true.
If that's the case, then why can't we live the type of lifestyle they have? We clearly have the same income.
Well, there's a reason for that, Ellie. I mean, sure, me and Ben have the same hourly rate, but it doesn't mean that we spend the exact same amount of money. You should realize how unhealthy the lifestyle Ben is living at the moment. I mean, people talk about him at the workplace. Everyone's gossiping about him. They say that when the whole building shuts down for the night, there's nothing but one light on. That little light is the desk that Ben sits at. He's up there all night trying to earn money for his family. It's quite sad to see. I mean, if you think about it, he's not exactly earning money with his own goals and intentions in mind. He kind of feels like he's just doing it to appease his wife. He's a slave to her.
That's just ridiculous. You don't think that guy indulges even a little bit into his own money? All that shows me is that he's a hard worker. That's quite admirable, to be honest. I mean, think about it. Because of all of his hard efforts, they're able to go on vacations a lot. I mean, did you see where they went last time? They were actually able to afford a plane to go to the other side of the world, to Bali.
Yes, I know, Ellie. I've already seen the pictures. They basically spam their social media with that stuff. It was impossible not to see what they were getting up to.
I know, right? It was just so cool. I felt like I was right there with them. Except, here's the thing. I wasn't. I was stuck here in this stupid old boring country raising the kids like I always do. I'm always doing the same monotonous thing every day, day in, day out. Do you ever have any consideration for me? I mean, you always talk about the kids and how much you care about them. You talk about the house too and how important it is. But I never see you talk about me and how important I am. When do I get a little bit of gratitude? When do I get a treat to myself?
Come on, Ellie. You're acting like I deprive you of every joy that exists. You have a very decent life living with me. You talked about their vacation, and look, every now and then we do get to go on our own. I mean, sure, we don't just show it off on social media like your sister does, but we still have a really good time. Not only that, but I keep everyone here well-fed and healthy. No one here is starving. Everyone here has food to eat at night and a roof over their head. That's a lot better than what most people have to deal with on a daily basis.
I guess that's the definition of happiness to you, isn't it? As long as everyone's getting the sleep that they need and getting food in their bellies, then they've got no reason to be unhappy, right? I guess in your world, no one is allowed to complain as long as they have those things.
Obviously, there's more to life than that. I'm just saying that things could be a lot worse, you know? I mean, you and our children could be absolutely miserable. There are a lot of people out there who are having it a lot worse than us. So I don't think we have the right to sit here and complain.
There's just no arguing with you, is there, Rob? I mean, you're always going to find a way to defend yourself and make up for the fact that you're a really subpar husband.
You've got a lot of nerve calling me subpar, Ellie. I mean, sure, I'll admit it. Fine. We're not living an extravagant life like your sister and Ben are. We're not going to a new location every weekend, eating new and exotic food every time we get a little bit bored. At the same time, that doesn't mean that we're not a functional family. Everything is going fine. The type of family that you're idealizing right now is one where I'm just breaking my body to provide for you. Like, come on, Ellie. When I met you, you were very different from your sister. You were quite the opposite, actually. You weren't the type of person to be making these types of requests to me.
Look, fine. I guess you have a point. Our family isn't the worst thing in the world. At least we have a roof over our head at the end of the day. I guess I'm just really jealous of what my sister has right now.
Exactly. Never forget that. I'm telling you right now, just by looking at those two, they're not going to last that long. I mean, a lifestyle like that isn't sustainable. I'm not sure how Ben does it to stay on top of his financials. I'm pretty sure that every little penny that he earns gets spent as soon as it enters into his pocket. He must be having a really rough time.
Yeah, well, that's all speculation at the end of the day, isn't it? I don't know if you noticed, but he seems to be pretty happy when he was sitting there with us today, didn't he?
Well, appearances are one thing. How he's feeling on the inside is going to be another.
Hey, sis! Sorry to bother you during your super busy day. I know how much that guy makes you work. You must have a billion things you gotta do today. I mean, you're looking after the kids and cleaning the house, right? Make sure that guy gives you a salary. Anyway, there's a reason why I'm messaging you. We don't usually talk a lot through text, but I just wanted to say that it was really nice having you over yesterday. Not only that, but you forgot your scarf. Didn't you feel a little bit cold as you were going home? Anyway, don't worry about it. I already threw it out for you.
Hey, Becky. It's nice that you're checking in for me. But what do you mean that you've thrown it out? That's not exactly doing me a favor, you know. If you've already thrown it in the bin, please fetch it out of there, please. Also, it would be nice if you could wash it for me.
Are you kidding me? You have a sister with an incredibly fine-tuned fashion sense, and you're not even going to rely on it? Trust me, you don't need garbage like that. Ellie, just never forget who we are. You and I are supermodels, even if we're not in the occupation. I mean, we're one of the more stunning varieties out there.
Are you serious? You really think of us in that way?
Of course I do. Think about a car, especially one that's a really cool-looking sports car. If you put the wrong accessories on, it starts to look really bad, right? You need to be careful about the items that you choose. It's going to affect the way that people look at you. It's really important. It's the same with you and your clothes. You gotta choose that type of thing carefully.
I know. But that is one of the only scarves I've got. I mean, Rob bought that thing on my birthday. You know how he is, right? He barely buys me anything.
Of course an old schmuck like your ridiculous excuse of a husband would buy something like this. I've always told you about that guy. There's something really off about him. I mean, how can a guy be that miserly about his money? What's so important that you need to save it up that much anyway?
Look, Rob has his ways. He tells me that there's a plan and stuff with this. I'm just gonna believe him. At the end of the day, he's the one that rules the roost. I've gotta do as he says.
Stuff that, honey. Is that really what you think? You've got it the wrong way around. Who's the one really taking care of the family? It's us. I mean, think about all the stuff that we have to do for these guys. We have to clean their houses. We have to look pretty for them. We have to cook for them. I think you have every right to sneak your hand into the cookie jar every now and then.
What are you trying to say right now? You actually want me to steal from him or something?
Hey, you guys are a married couple now. There's no stealing in this type of relationship. You know, the old traditional saying, right? What's mine is yours and yours is mine. Well, if you had an issue with that, then there's something clearly wrong with your marriage.
Well, look, as it happens, I'm the one that's in control of the money. I can choose where I want to spend it.
Well, there you go. That's your money. Spend! Spend! What's the issue here?
Well, whenever I want to make a large purchase, like buy some tickets to a different country or something, he always rejects me for it.
Are you serious? I don't know, Ellie. I'm not really sure what you see in this guy. This sounds like a real second-tier husband, if you ask me. I mean, he doesn't even let you use the money to enjoy yourself? What are the perks of being in this marriage with him anyway?
Well, what he lacks in excitement, he definitely makes up for in commitment and dedication. There's not a lot of guys out there that really care about the family like he does. We mean everything to him. I mean, sure, before we had the children, he was a lot more attentive to me. He was always trying to treat me to something new. I remember those days like they were yesterday. He was so charming and sweet to me. He really treated me like a princess. Now I'm more of an obstacle than a princess. He keeps telling me that the children come first, that we need to prioritize their future. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what he's saving the money up for. He wants to make sure that they get into a good school. To be honest, it really gets on my nerves. He thinks her kids aren't as great as ours because they sit on the iPad all the time.
What a joke. My kids are the best that you could ask for. I mean, they don't bother anyone. At the same time, I can agree with what he's saying there. I mean, the children are important. We should be giving everything that we can to them. But if that's the case, don't you think that he needs to do a little bit more work on his part?
Well, I'm not really sure what you mean by that. How can he do a little bit more work?
Well, let's face it. Compare his work ethic to my husband's. I mean, Ben is an absolute machine at what he does. Sometimes I even wonder if he's human at all.
I've heard about how much he likes to work. It's crazy to see that it doesn't affect him at all. I mean, he seemed so normal when we were at that lunch.
I know, right? And get this. He's always like that. That's how he is every day. You would think that after all that work, he would come home in an absolute horrible mess. You would think that he'd be too tired to even talk to me. Despite all that, he keeps just enough time for us to have an emotional connection. And then when he needs to sleep, he just sleeps. The next morning, he wakes up and doesn't even show any sign of weakness. He just knows what he has to do and gets to it. He gets everything done in such a methodical and efficient way. It's kind of scary to watch, to be honest.
That does sound pretty cool, to be honest. Are you sure he's not a robot to begin with? There's not a lot of guys that can live that way. I'm sure it must take a toll on his mentality.
Oh, come on. Are you serious? That guy has the biggest motivation of all. There's no way he would get tired. It's actually physically impossible considering his circumstance.
What are you trying to say right now? What's this big motivation that he has?
Well, it's me, of course. Think about how reinvigorating it would be to come home to a sassy little item like me. I mean, I can feel all the boys staring at me as I walk down the street. I can feel them sapping my energy away. I'm the only thing that brightens up their day.
Are you serious right now? You actually have a lot of people staring at you as you walk down the street? And you can feel that they're draining you.
Well, maybe draining isn't exactly the right word to use. I feel like I'm just giving them my energy. I'm telling you right now, with the amount of beauty that I have, my radiance never stops shining. I never grow dim. A guy like Ben realizes how lucky he is to be with someone like me, and he realizes that he needs to work for it. He's always grateful for how pretty I try and make myself.
Wow. So he doesn't even complain? I thought he would be a bit unhappy about you buying all those fashion items all the time. You're telling me that he actually likes it?
Of course he does. I mean, do you actually think that I'm doing that stuff for me? Of course not. I'm doing it for him. A husband is going to be happy when he can come home to a beautiful wife at the end of the day. And that's exactly what I'm striving for.
Well, Becky, it sounds like you got all of this figured out.
Of course I have. This is the girl speaking from experience. I mean, I've been married a lot longer than you have. I know exactly what it's going to take to have a functional relationship with each other.
You know what, Becky? I feel like you have a point. Like, I really do. I can see by the amount of success and happiness that you and Ben have that you guys are doing something right. Like, honestly, I'm really jealous of the way you guys get to live. I feel like I've got the perfect example of what I should be doing with my relationship right in front of me. But it's just so hard to convince Rob. I mean, he just wants to look down on the relationship between you and Ben like it's something to be scared of, something that we should avoid. Honestly, I love Rob. He's got some amazing qualities about him, but he can be a pain sometimes. It's really hard to deal with him.
Yeah, I have to be honest. If I had to date a stick in the mud like Rob, I'd be having a hard time too.
So you think so too?
Of course I do. I think you're like so great for being able to stick it out in a situation like that. I'm telling you, not many gals can do what you do.
Thanks, Becky. You have no idea how much I appreciate you having my back. I honestly couldn't ask for a better sister in the whole world. I mean, my whole life, you've been looking out for me. You've always been giving me advice and making sure that no harm came my way. I'm really glad that you're trying to do what you can to save my marriage.
Don't worry about it, Ellie. I'm your big sister. It's my job. That's what I have to do. I need to have your back. I'm going to have your back no matter what. In the same way that I know you're going to have my back no matter what.
Well, I'm glad you're saying it so I don't have to. It's good that we understand each other.
Exactly! Which is why I know that I can ask you for this favor and know you're going to listen to me.
Oh, wow. A favor coming from you? It's been a while. Well, sis, you can tell me what needs to be done and I'll see what I can do. I'm quite busy with all the things I have to do.
You know how hectic my life is, right? Maintaining a household and looking after the kids? It's not easy. But if it's within my power, I'm going to do what I can to help you. That's great to hear. I'm so happy to know that you're looking out for me too. So allow me to get down to it. Here's the thing. I'm going to start something really exciting. Something big. Something that no one's ever done before. It's this new idea, and I don't think anyone's come up with it. I really want to put it into action, but I need a bit of help to do so. Okay, well, this sounds exciting. I wonder what this idea of yours is. Does this have something to do with business? Oh, yeah. Looks like I don't need to sit here explaining myself. Your mind is already in sync with mine. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create my own business. What do you think about that? It's pretty exciting, right? Well, yeah, I think that's amazing. I mean, up until now, it's just been your husband earning the income for the family, right? I'm guessing you want to contribute back to him or something. Something like that, except maybe not that at all. I just want to do something new, something exciting. I want to challenge myself. You can understand where I'm coming from, right? Sometimes life gets really boring. You want something that's actually difficult, something stimulating. No, I hear you. I definitely know where you're coming from. I mean, my life is as challenging as it can get. But that being said, I remember the times where I didn't have much to do. I was actually begging for something hard to come along my way. Exactly! You know exactly where I'm coming from. Well, the thing is, starting your own business isn't easy, right? I mean, it's not something that everyone can do. It requires a lot. It requires hard work, dedication, and grit. And most of all, it requires money. I'm going to need a lot of money to start this thing up. Okay, well, I'm intrigued about what you're about to get yourself into, Becky. Give me some details of the business, and I'll see if it's worthy of me investing in it. Okay, well, you're gonna absolutely love this idea. I mean, this is straight up your alley. You and I think alike, so you'll know exactly why I think this business is a pretty cool idea. So basically, I want to open up a cafe. Okay, so you want to open up a cafe? Interesting. I mean, that's not something that's really unique, to be honest, Becky, but if you need money for it, I'll be happy to give it to you. Let me finish. I'm not going to open up just any old cafe. This is going to be something different, something unique, something that people can actually enjoy, something they look forward to seeing. The type of cafe I'm going to be opening up isn't going to be like the cafes that we have around here. It's going to have its own special theme. Oh, okay. I see where you're coming from now. That could actually be a good idea. I mean, these days, there are all types of cafes out there, right? Some of them have a really cool jazz theme that you can just get down and funky with. Others have some really classical music playing so that you can get really in touch with your intellectual side. A different cafe is going to give you a different type of mood. Look, you're running along the same lines as me, but it's a little bit different. I mean, I'm not going to create one of those old, typical cafes that you see all around the place. What's the point of me doing that? I want to have some individuality. I want something that people think, wow, that's amazing. I wonder who thought of the theme for this place. It's absolutely amazing. They must be a genius or something. That's the type of place that I'm going for. Okay, well, you got me on the edge of my seat. I'm really excited to hear what you have in mind. So, what is this theme that you're going for? It's going to be something interesting, right? Maybe you have some sort of outer space theme? Someplace where people feel like they're having coffee from a different galaxy altogether. Or maybe you're going for some cool, exciting cafe idea. Like a place with a pinball machine in the corner. I don't know, I'm just shooting off some ideas here. But let's hear what you've come up with. Okay, look, those are all some pretty decent ideas, but I've thought of something even better. Get this. I'm thinking about EDM. We're going to have an EDM-themed cafe. I'm sorry. What did you just say? An EDM cafe? I know, right? It's quite breathtaking, isn't it? I mean, it really takes you away. Who has ever thought about something as cool and amazing as this? I'm telling you right now, I must be the first person to actually come up with something so innovative, something so creative.
I'm going to need you to give me a bit more details on this idea of yours, Becky.
Okay, well, it seems I've piqued your curiosity. So allow me to explain. I don't know if you remember me back when I first graduated from university, but I wasn't your average girl. I mean, I just got that degree, and usually you would go into work or something, right? Well, I thought, why? Why should I continue a life of tedious boredom when I should be out there having fun? I should be out there enjoying myself. So I did what any girl with the right head on their shoulders would do. I went to raves. I went to concerts. I went out there to go crazy, to be wild, to be free. I mean, come on. Do I even need to mention this? You remember when I was like this, right?
Of course I do. I mean, you even tagged me along for a couple of those adventures of yours. I've seen you in action. I've seen it all firsthand. I remember the amount of times you ran around the venue topless.
Exactly! What am I doing right now, explaining myself? You know exactly how I was back then. Well, anyway, those were some really fun times. I mean, if I could just get into a time machine and go back there, I would. But take a look at my situation now. I still have that young spirit on me. There's still a part of me that just wants to get out there and go wild. But I can't exactly do that, can I? I mean, I've got a family. If I actually go out, think about what Ben is going to do. He's going to sit there worrying all night that something's happened to me. Introducing the EDM Cafe. A place where you can feel the thrill of the night, but during the day.
I see. So you want to have this EDM-style cafe so that people who are in a similar situation as you can actually be out there dancing and enjoying themselves. I'm assuming you're trying to target housewives or something.
I knew you were a smart girl, Ellie. You basically read my mind. That's exactly what I'm going for. You see, it's not easy being a housewife. Life gets boring. We're looking for that one thing that's going to add some excitement to our lives.
Right. And you think the fusion of having a coffee and dancing during the day is going to be a really profitable business? You think people are actually going to go there, aren't you?
Of course I am. That's the whole premise of my idea. So, what do you think? It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Okay, look, Becky, I'm going to have to be honest with you right now. I've heard everything that you've had to say, and I've come to a conclusion about your cafe. And that conclusion is that it is the most incredible and freaking awesome thing I've ever heard of! I mean, how come no one's ever thought about this type of thing before? This is an absolute killer of an idea. You know exactly what's wrong with this town. You know that we need a little bit more excitement. People are begging for something new to happen. This is exactly what they need. You've actually listened to how people are feeling. You've seen a demand for something, and you're going to be the one that supplies it.
So you think I'm going to be a big success, don't you? You think my cafe is going to be the center of attention?
Of course I do. You'd have to be an idiot to think that this wasn't a cool idea. I don't know how you do it, Becky. That's my sister for you. Complete genius.
Yeah, well, what can I say at the end of the day? I'm not just a pretty face.
I think this is an awesome idea. I've always known that you were a smart girl. I mean, you were smart enough to get a guy like Ben. He doesn't seem like the type of person to just go after stupid girls. He's so smart and has his priorities set. You can tell that he knows what he's doing.
Exactly! Which is why I need some money from you.
Actually, come to think of it, I'm really curious about why you're asking me for money now. I mean, surely Ben should be able to give you the money for this thing, right? Do you really need to borrow money from me and Rob?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The type of idea I'm going for is going to be pretty expensive. I mean, this isn't going to be your average cafe. It's going to be huge. I mean, think about it. It's an EDM cafe. We're going to need some space for people to actually get down and dance, you know? That stuff is going to cost money.
Okay, I understand that. But even so, money is something that you guys don't have in short supply, right? I mean, I always see the trips that you guys have. It seems like you're always doing something fun every other day. Are you guys actually in a pinch or something?
Yeah, look, something like that. But don't worry about it. I just need you to give me that money. You give me that money, and then we're going to be fine. I'm going to start off my cafe. Then we're going to be earning money like it grows on the lawn.
Well, hang on a minute. I don't really know if I like the sound of that, to be honest, Becky. How much money do you want for this thing anyway?
Well, I'm not asking for a whole lot. I'm thinking about $50,000 startup. Surely you can provide me with something like that.
I'm sorry, I need to scratch my ears out because I'm pretty sure I didn't hear that correctly. Are you actually suggesting that I give you $50,000 for this cafe of yours?
Well, yeah. Like I said, it's going to be really expensive. I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking $50,000 is a lot of money. Trust me, this is a $1 million idea. It's going to earn us a lot of money. $50,000 is going to look like nothing compared to the amount of money we're going to be making from it.
Okay. Well, don't get me wrong, Becky. I mean, I love you. I love you to bits. But at the same time, love can only take you so far. I mean, you want me to actually give you this money without asking what happened to your money in the first place? I thought you and Rob were buying a car like every second day of the week or something. Surely you'd be able to start up this cafe on your own.
Yeah, well, look. We have our own personal circumstances right now, and I don't really want to talk about it. The only thing I want you to focus on is the fact that we're going to be earning money from this. I mean, it's like you said. This is a really awesome idea. It's going to kick off. I can feel it. I can feel it straight down to my core. I mean, there's something telling me that this is the right thing to do. The only thing that's stopping me is how selfish my sister is.
Hey, come on. Don't call me selfish. All I'm asking is for a bit more details on what's going on.
Okay, so maybe you're not selfish. Maybe you're nosy then. The fact of the matter is, you're my sister. It's absurd that I need to sit here and convince you that this is the right thing to do. I should be able to ask you for something without being questioned about it. Like, don't you see this as super rude? I've basically raised you your whole life. I mean, I've been the one protecting you this whole time. You really can't give me a measly $50,000, especially when I'm going to pay you back with interest? That right there is selfishness. Sis, I thought you were better than that.
Okay, look, fine, I get it. I don't need my ear talked off. Also, don't say that type of thing to me. It really hurts. But I'll give you your money and I won't even ask what's going on. You have to promise me that at some point you're going to open up to me about what's going on with you and Ben. I'm very curious. I'm worried about you. I mean, up until now, it seems like you were living in some sort of utopia. I'd hate for that to end for you.
Well, look, someone with my dedication and passion isn't going to let the utopia disappear that easily. Things are only looking that much better from this point on. I'll give you the details to transfer the money into my account. You said that you manage the finances for the household, right? Rob doesn't really look into that type of thing.
That's right. He's too busy working and focusing on other things to actually check the finances. He trusts me with the money.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. I look forward to seeing that money in my bank account then. You're not going to regret this decision, sis.
Hey, Ben. How are things going? You and I don't get to talk very often, do we? I heard things are in absolute disarray over in your department. A lot of chatter gets trickled down to my end. I'm sorry if I'm being a little intrusive. You probably don't want to talk about this. Then again, this is something I feel needs to be brought up. I'm just reaching out to tell you that I'm always here for you and your family. At the end of the day, even if you're my sister-in-law's husband, you're still family to me. Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate you going out of your way and contacting me. Things have been nuts over here. I mean, the work just doesn't end. There are so many things that we need to do. Are you sure you're keeping your head above water? I'm a little bit worried that you're not even sleeping. A lot of people are saying you walk around with a coffee in your hand. It just never disappears. Well, yeah. I'm glad that you mentioned it because I'm worried about that too. I don't even know if I am sleeping. Sometimes I feel like it's all work 24/7. I mean, I work at the office, then I hop on the train and work there. Then I'm working as I'm eating dinner with my family. You know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if I was just sleepwalking and working in that state too. It sounds like things are really rough. But then again, you know better than anyone, Ben. As rough as everything seems, I'm pretty sure you can figure out some sort of solution. I mean, I'm really interested in the management of that department. You're the guy that's in charge of everyone, right? Same way as I'm the guy in charge of everyone in my department. Are you sure that the way you're doing things at the moment is the best way for everyone? Maybe you need to think about changing your management style. No, look, I've done everything. I've thought about everything that I can do. Basically, what I'm doing at the moment is the best thing. There's no point in me trying to change what we're doing right now. It is what it is. Just have to grit my teeth and bruise through it. Okay, well, I admire the soldier-like mentality, but you're only human at the end of the day. We all have our limit. I don't want to disagree with you or anything, but I've heard about how things are run over there. I mean, it sounds like you're not really being a manager at all. You're being one of the workers. A couple of people there are saying that you have an issue with delegating tasks. What do you think about that? Is everyone just lying about that or something? Oh, come on. Are you serious right now? So people are actually leaking information outside of our department? That is just really rude. I can't believe they would do something like that. Look, fine. Maybe I am taking on a little bit more than I need to. Maybe it's all starting to get to me. But I'm only doing what's necessary. Okay, well, what's the issue here then, Ben? Is it something to do with your staff? Are they incompetent? Do they need proper training to be able to do the job properly or something? It's got nothing to do with that. We have some of the best people working here. I've trained the trainers myself. They know what they're doing. Okay, well, if that's the case, then the only conclusion that we can come to is that there's not enough workers. I'm assuming the reason why you're running around doing everything is that you don't have people to actually do the work. What the? Can I assume that I'm right about this? I should have known that you would come to that conclusion, Rob. I mean, you've been a manager for longer than I have. You know exactly what I'm going through right now. Well, the answer is yes. That's exactly what's going on. We don't have the workers to do the work. Okay, well, look, that's not really an issue. You should have told me before. We could have sorted something out really quick and easy. What are you talking about right now? Well, I'm talking about a solution. Like, come on, Ben. We work in the same company. There's no way we can't work ourselves around this. I mean, I know that we're in two different departments, and it might take some time to get used to, but I've got some really good guys in my department. We can apply for a transfer, get them over there. I'm pretty sure the experience would do them well, too. It would broaden their connections, and they would be able to know more people within the company. This is kind of a win-win, really. Wait, hold on. You're not actually suggesting that, are you? No, there's no way we can do that. I decline. We're not going to be doing some stupid plan like that. Hang on a minute. In what way is this stupid? This sounds like a pretty good idea. No, it's out of the question. We're not doing it. I'm sorry, Ben, but I'm really confused right now. I don't know why you have an issue with this. I mean, do you really want to be sitting up there all night in the office working all the time? You gotta know how to take a break every now and then. Think about it. Think about how your mental state is going to affect your workers. I mean, you know everything trickles down, right? If you aren't in the mental space to come to work in a healthy manner, then what's going to happen to your employees? They're going to be infected by that negative mindset that you have. Not only that, but think about your family. Do you think your kids want to see a worn-out father stumbling into the house and collapsing before he makes it to the bed? You have to take it easier on yourself. Just relax a little bit. There's nothing wrong with taking a couple of my workers. Look, Rob, I said no and that's it. I'm not putting this up for discussion. Okay, well, this is a really unhealthy reaction you're giving me right now. I don't see what you have an issue with, Ben. I need you to explain this to me. It sounds like you don't care about yourself or your family at all. Why would you want to take on more work? Well, look, I will admit that taking on more work has its downsides. I mean, it's hard to get to sleep. It's hard to unwind. I mean, these are all very obvious. Anyone could agree that it's not easy. At the same time, it's just what I need to do. It's what I want to do. So you can just butt out of it. If you don't want to manage your team the way I do, you don't have to. I fully respect that, in the same way that I want you to fully respect the way I manage mine. Well, look, I think we're getting off on the wrong foot here, Ben. I mean, I'm not trying to say this to act superior to you or anything. I'm sure you manage the team just fine. This conversation has nothing to do with that. I'm just family. I really care about you. The fact that you want to work more is really starting to worry me. I mean, I haven't known you your whole life or anything, but I've known you long enough. I know that over the years you've been working more and more, and you've been doing more and more luxurious things. I can't help but get worried, you know? I don't care how worried you are. I'm a grown adult. I can manage myself. I just want you to be honest with me right now, Ben. Does this have anything to do with Becky? I'm sorry. What now? Why are you bringing Becky into this? She's got nothing to do with my work. Are you sure about that? I just can't help but notice that things are getting really intense regarding your household recently. What do you mean by intense? How could you get that impression? I mean, didn't you see how happy we were? Our family is going just fine. I don't need you to sit there making a judgment on us. Hey, look, Ben, it's quite obvious that you're having issues lately. I know what it's like to be a guy. I mean, sometimes we can't tell our wives how we're feeling. We can't let them know what's going on. Sometimes the wife herself is the problem. I know you don't want to believe it, but I really do consider you family. If there's one guy that you should open up to, I think I'm that guy. Trust me, I'm not going to pass this on to your wife or anything. I don't even tell Ellie anything that I talk about. Your secret's going to be safe with me. Are you sure about that? How can I trust you, though? Where's the proof that you're actually being genuine right now? There is no proof. That's why it's called trust. You're just gonna have to believe me. Okay, fine. I do want to get some stuff off my chest. I guess I can let you in on what's been going on. It hasn't been easy for me. I've been really struggling lately. When you say things, what are you referring to exactly? Just everything? I guess if I had to put it down to one thing, it's just my marriage in general. I see. So despite all of those good appearances that you were giving the other day, there are actually issues in your marriage. Oh yeah, big ones. I mean, do I even need to list them out for you? I'm pretty sure you have gone out of your way to think about what's going on. You should understand my situation perfectly. Well, I have observed some things that were quite concerning to me, but I didn't want to bother you with them. I think you're doing everything that a man should be doing. I mean, you're out there working and trying to provide for your family. I don't want to sit here and just put your family down, but I think they're at fault here. Your wife and your children. Come on, are you seriously going to say that to me? My kids are just kids. They're not adults yet. Don't blame them for this. Oh, look, I'm not blaming them. None of this is their fault. I mean, they're just the product of their environment. I actually feel sorry for them. Really? I'm glad you're not putting them down. I need to be honest about the situation. It's really sad to see the way my kids have become. I mean, when they were first born, I spent so much time with them. I had a very healthy lifestyle of working and then coming home to them. I would actually give them the attention that they need. Over time, I've had to work more and more. I mean, let's face it, the wife gets hungrier and hungrier and the kids get older and older. There are a lot of things that I need to save money for. Okay. And what are these things that you're thinking about? Well, look, nothing too fancy. I just want to be able to put them into a good school. You see, I'm in a very good position right now. It took me a very long time to get here. But that's not to say that it was easy. The thing is that I had a horrible start. I had parents that were neglectful. I had a dad that walked out on me. And even the schools that I went to were horrible. I mean, year after year, I had to keep changing schools. Plunging myself into a different social circle. Plunging myself into another band of delinquents. With that being the case, I was always the one that stuck out. I don't know what it was about me, but I just wanted to escape it all. I was sick of hanging around those people. There was something I knew about myself that made me different from them. I just had to find a way to build a new life for myself. So even if I was going to some of the worst schools with the most horrible teachers, even if I was starting the race way behind everyone else, I still wanted to do what I could to create something for myself. So here I am now in that position that I'm in. It should be something that I'm proud of. I should be proud that I have a job like I do. I should be proud to have the 2 little children that I do. I should be proud to have a beautiful wife like I do. So what am I doing wrong? Why aren't I happy about this? I never knew that's what you had to deal with, Ben. I respected you before, but now I respect you even more considering the past you had. That being said, you've really gotten yourself into an interesting situation there. It's kind of heartbreaking to hear about this. I guess the fact of the matter is that you let your wife run rampant. I mean, I understand why you would have done it. I guess at first you were just trying to be a good husband. Your wife wants something and you want to be able to provide for her. You want to do what you can to make her happy. It's something that I understand. Something I've even felt towards my own wife. At the same time, it's just unfortunate that you chose the wrong type of girl to do that with. I mean, I know Becky would have played the angel card at first. She would have acted in every way that you would want her to act in. She would have seen something in you. She would have seen how successful you were going to be someday. It was smart of her to latch onto you, and now she really has a good hold over you. Anything that she wants, she gets. If she wants a particular car, she's going to get it in some way. If she wants to go on a holiday, then so be it. You're going to grant her that wish. But I need you to think about this one. Ben, is this really the type of life you want to be living? Do you really want to be the type of person where people just leech off you? Look, Rob, I think it's about time that you stood up to the people around you, especially considering the fact that you have kids. I know. I hear everything you're saying. Don't think I haven't thought about this before. I know exactly what I have to do. It's just really hard, especially with a woman like Becky. I mean, she's got a real beast within her. You probably haven't seen it before. She's terrifying when she wants to be. I can imagine she is. I mean, even my wife tends to have that side to her too. Sometimes I see it and it scares the hell out of me. At the same time, if something needs to be said, it needs to be said. No matter how scary it feels. I mean, do you ever care about your own well-being? Do you ever care about what's going to happen to you from this point on? Of course I do. I feel like I'm going to die before I even hit 40. I mean, I've already got white hairs. Can you believe that? I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, living the life you do. I need to do something about this. Rob, I need to change my situation. I can't keep living like this. I can't keep living off a wife that just wants to take from me. I can't keep living with children that don't even want to speak with me. I need to do something. Well, look, if you ask me, it's about time that we've had a talk with Becky about her lifestyle and her spending habits. It's clear that what you have isn't sustainable, and it's not something that you're happy with either. You're right. You know what, Rob? Thanks for having my back. You really are a good guy. I mean, you even gave us that money to start off the cafe. Now you're here worrying about my mental state. What are you going to do for us next? Hold on a second. What are you talking about right now? Did you just say cafe? You know, the cafe. Look, I really feel bad about that one, too. Honestly, if I could just pull $50,000 out of my pocket like that, I would. Unfortunately, with all the things that my wife gets me to buy for her, I just don't have that type of money on hand. I mean, I definitely would have it if I was left to my own devices. I would probably have a bank balance that hits 7 digits. Hang on a second. I'm not sure what you're talking about right now. You're talking about some sort of cafe. I've never heard about this. What are you talking about right now? Hold on a second. You haven't heard? Are you trying to tell me that you gave us $50,000 and you don't even know about it? What the? I need you to tell me what the hell is going on right now. I'm this close to exploding. Okay, well, I just want you to take a deep breath and relax a bit. This is going to be a lot to take in. I'm really sorry. I thought you knew about this, but I guess I'm going to be the one that has to break this to you. So, my wife...
Hey! How's my sweetest, most handsome, and most loving husband in the world? Do you know what day it is today? That's right! It's our anniversary! I know how you are. You always like to forget this type of thing. Don't worry, you get a special pass. If you were any other guy, I would have given you quite the lecture about it. But the thing is, you're such a hard worker and you do so much for our family. It's virtually impossible to get angry at you for anything. So here's the thing. I know how you've been over the past couple of years. I mean, our anniversary is just one of those things. You never remember it, do you? I mean, that's fine. It is what it is. I just have to accept it. I guess you do some things in the relationship and I do the other things. The one that has to remember our anniversary is going to be me. And you know what? I feel really good about this year. I think we had an amazing time together. Because of that, I've gone out of my way to get a really special cake. It's absolutely massive! I can't wait to share it between us and the kids. It's going to be the representation of my love for you.
Well, this is interesting. I have to say, there's been a big mood change in you lately, Ellie. I mean, I remember when we left your sister's house after that lunch. It seemed like you couldn't be any more dissatisfied with our marriage. You absolutely hated the fact that you were with me. Let's take a look at how you are lately. It's like someone waved a magic wand over you and you all of a sudden have absolute adoration for me. It's quite suspicious, don't you think?
Well, hey, look. Girls need to vent every now and then. You know, sometimes we just want to get things off our chest. Even when there's not even an issue to begin with. We just want to complain. I mean, you're at the age that you are now and you don't have this wisdom yet? I thought you would have some sort of idea about how girls work at this point. Anyway, look. Everything that I said the other day isn't important. Let's just put that all behind us. I don't care about it. Let's look towards the future.
Oh, really? So all of that stuff about me being a horrible husband that doesn't treat his wife to anything was a lie or something? It's just all in the past now. Just like that, you don't care about it? Honestly, it is actually like someone waved that magic wand over you.
Yeah. Well, you know, at the end of the day, you had a point. I mean, I have to be grateful for these types of things, right? You're going out of your way to provide for our family. You're doing your part and I have to do mine. I don't want to be some headache for you to listen to every day. So yeah, just accept my kindness for what it is. And you know what? Get excited for this cake. You're gonna absolutely love it.
I don't want your damn cake, and I don't want your damn kindness either. I want your honesty.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Where did that come from? What's going on? Am I seeing the inner beast come out? Come on, Rob, don't talk to me that way. It's our anniversary. We're meant to be getting all lovey-dovey today. Not all antsy-pantsy.
I understand that. I get that it's our anniversary and we're meant to be in each other's arms right now, absolutely adoring each other. But if you're gonna sit there and complain to me, then I've got nothing to say to you. What you've done recently is horrid beyond words. I mean, I cannot believe that you would do this. I cannot believe you would do it behind my back. You think all of this over-exaggerated kindness that you're giving me right now is going to be enough to excuse your actions? You really disgust me. I thought better of you, Ellie. I didn't think you were capable of doing something like this.
Hey, come on. This isn't fair. You're getting up me and you're not even giving me the reason why. I've got no idea what I've done wrong. Can you at least explain it to me?
Stop acting all innocent. You know exactly what you've done wrong. If you really thought that the thing you did lately was the right thing to do, you wouldn't be giving me this attitude. If I had to venture out on a guess, I would say that you knew that I was going to find out about this. You knew I was going to be angry about it. So you thought that being nice to me would save you? Well, I'm sorry, Ellie, but I don't think you actually understand the gravity of your actions.
Well, you have a point there. I don't really, to be honest, because let's just face it. You still haven't even told me what you're angry about. Just get out with it already.
You know damn well what this is about. You gave your sister $50,000 without asking me.
Well, so what? Is it that big of a deal? I mean, this is my sister that we're talking about. What am I going to do? Just tell her no? That's not what family does. Family is meant to support each other.
Okay. And do you know what else family is meant to do, Ellie? Families are meant to inform each other when they're making a bad decision. I mean, did you actually support your sister in doing something like this? Were you just trying to obey her will? Seriously, if you honestly cared about your family, you would have told her that this was a horrible idea.
What are you talking about? What's a horrible idea?
Okay. Do I have to spell it out for you? In what way is having an EDM cafe a good business venture, or even a smart one? Could she not just keep it as a simple cafe? If it was something like that, I would have understood. But something like an EDM cafe?
I have to be honest. I can't believe you're against this. I thought you would actually agree with it. I mean, you're the type that likes money, right? You like interesting businesses. This should be an incredibly attractive business to you.
Ellie, what are you talking about right now? Are you seriously telling me that you actually think this was an awesome idea? You actually thought that an EDM cafe that operates during the day was going to rack up some numbers? You actually thought this was going to bring in money?
Well, yes, that's exactly what I thought. That's what I thought then, and that's what I still think to this day.
I have to say, you're on another level of stupid. I mean, I cannot believe what I'm listening to right now. What type of person is going to wake up and be like, hey, I kind of feel like getting a coffee and dancing afterwards at 11 o'clock during the day? That's a horrible match. Who's going to go to a place like that? And if you want any proof of that testimony, take a look at the numbers. I mean, no one comes to this cafe. It's been operating with 0 customers. Do you not see this as a bad sign?
Well, look, the business just started, right? These things take time. Do you really expect it to just blow up straight away? That's not how these things work. If you knew anything about business, you would at least understand that.
And what are you trying to say right now? That you actually understand business? Do I have to point out that staying at home cleaning and cooking while you complain about your husband does not contribute to the knowledge that's gonna help you run a business? You have no idea about this world. Don't talk about it like you do.
Oh my god! You are just so frustrating! Can you just not have such a negative attitude towards everything? Why don't you have a little bit of faith in us?
What do you mean, have a little bit of faith? I'm sorry. I keep having to point this out, but I'm the one that's been paying for this cafe, right? I'm the one that had $50,000 stolen from him. I'm the one that had his wife steal money and invest in a stupid idea like this cafe. Do you have any idea what that money was going to be used for?
Actually, I did have some sort of idea what it was going to be used for. I had a feeling that you were going to save up as much as you could until you're too old to work. The moment you did that, you're going to put it all into a treasure chest and go bury it somewhere. That's exactly what you were going to do, right?
You really do think you're funny, don't you? You really don't understand the reason why I'm trying to save money and not spend it.
Well, actually, no, I don't. I'm just basing my judgment off evidence because you don't use that money for anything. You just keep it in that bank account, letting it rot away. I just don't get it, to be honest. If you're going to earn money, you should at least put it towards something, right?
I've had this conversation with you before, and I can't believe that I have to have it with you again. You and I both know that I use that money for our family. Regardless of whether I am using it or not using it, it's for my family.
Okay, well, let me remind you that Becky is also our family. So there you go. I'm only working within your principles. I haven't been doing anything wrong to begin with.
That's different to what I'm saying, and you know it. Ellie, I need you to listen to me now. If I find out that you've been using this money again, there's going to be consequences. If you and your sister know any better, you would shut that cafe down.
What the hell? Why? We only just got it started.
Exactly. You only just got it started, and that should be reason enough for you to realize that it's not going to go anywhere. I don't want to have this conversation again. If I find out that you've been doing this, there's going to be consequences. Do you understand that?
Hey, Ellie! Have you checked out the cafe yet? This place is absolutely rocking! I mean, it looks exactly the way I wanted it to be. I've got a nice little bar to serve the coffee. I've got a massive dance floor for everyone to enjoy themselves on. And I've got the perfect arrangement for music. I have to be the one doing the DJ and sorting out the lighting and the music, but at some point, I want to actually get some people to work here. I am telling you right now, this place is going to be incredible the moment we start bringing some customers in. I can't wait for word to spread around town. You know what, Becky? That's really good to hear. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that you're excited about this cafe. Well, hey, that's a little bit of a dull reaction. I thought you were just as excited about this thing as me. Well, you know what? Just come on down to this cafe. That's going to lift your spirits. When you see this thing in the flesh, you'll understand how amazing this little exploit that I'm doing is. Yeah, well, your little business adventure isn't going to last that long, Becky. My husband found out about it, and he didn't have very nice things to say about it. Hold on a second. Your husband found out about it? Why? Why did you tell him? Actually, you know what? I want to hear what he said about my place. I know a guy like him doesn't have anything good to say. I needed some sort of entertainment today, so I'm glad I get to laugh at something. What did that loser say? Well, look, he was absolutely furious that we've been the one taking his money. He wasn't happy about me taking $50,000 and putting it towards your business. He wants you to shut it down. You see what I mean? That's exactly the type of guy he is. He's just selfish. Do you think I would hesitate to give him money if he needed it? I'm sure you wouldn't have, Becky. I don't doubt you for a second. I know that you're a really good person. At the same time, I am kind of in the wrong here. I did take the money behind his back. I could have at least asked him for it. Oh, really? So what does he become now? Is he your dad? The last time I checked, you guys were a married couple, right? I can't believe you would actually feel pressure to ask him about something so obvious. I mean, it's just $50,000. Is he going to make that much of a big deal about it? Jeez. Is that honestly all he had to say? Well, no, not exactly. He also doesn't have any faith in the business itself. He thinks the idea of having an EDM cafe is stupid. Oh, what a load of crap! What does he know about cafes? That guy just sits at work all the time, right? I mean, there's no dimensionality to him. He's just so basic and boring. Of course he's not going to see the awesomeness in the fact that this is a really unique cafe. Well, he does kind of have a point. The numbers have been showing that the cafe isn't doing as well as we think it should. It's taking a while for this thing to pick up. I mean, we've had customers walk in and they walked out within minutes. They just get their coffee and leave. The idea isn't really kicking off. Oh my god! I cannot believe you're telling me this right now, Ellie. I mean, I know I was going to hear this type of thing a lot, but to hear it from my own sister? That hurts. That hurts a lot. So I guess I need to explain this to you. The fact of the matter is that this is a new business. I mean, it's a super new idea. It's going to take time for people to get comfortable with it. Like, honestly, do you think everyone was okay with their phones tracking their location 24/7? They had a little bit of resistance to it at first, right? It took time for them to actually accept that type of thing. Well, it's the same thing with my cafe. These types of things take time. It's going to be successful. It's destined to be successful. But people just have to believe in it. They have to have the dedication and the passion that I have to make it a success. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Look, I get it. Fine. You know what you're talking about, Becky. I'm sorry that I doubted you. I guess I was listening to my husband a little bit too much. Well, I'm glad that you actually realized that so I didn't have to tell you. You know what? How did he find out about this thing anyway? That's a good question. It turns out that your husband actually spoke to him about it. I guess you forgot to tell him to keep it a secret. Oh my god. Are you kidding me right now? What is with these two? It's like they don't understand common sense. Like, why would they think this way? Why would my husband think that it was okay to tell your husband what happened? Okay, you know what? I'm going to go sort him out then. I'm going to make sure he understands his place and what he needs to do. In the meantime, I need you to get to work.
Hang on a second. What do you mean by that, Becky? What do you mean by I have to get to work?
Well, look, this cafe isn't going to run itself, is it? It's like I said just now. The place isn't up and running yet. We're actually losing a lot of money. I need some more money to keep this place afloat.
Are you serious right now? How much do you need? I thought $50,000 would cover pretty much everything.
Look, don't get all flustered about it. I'm not asking for that much. I'm just going to need $5,000 for this month.
Are you kidding me right now? You need a whole $5,000? It's just a simple cafe, right? Why would it cost this much?
Well, look, I'm still trying to drum up advertisement for the place, right? I've got the music and the lights blaring. I'm trying to garner some attention during the day, and that type of stuff costs money. Are you seriously going to sit there and tell me that you can't get this money?
Well, look, I've already had a talk with my husband. He wasn't happy that I took the money the first time. What's he going to do when he finds out I've done it for a second time?
Okay, Ellie, that's not my problem. That's your problem right there. It's up to you to figure out a way to get it.
Okay, but he seemed really mad the last time I talked to him. I think he's had enough. Like, he might actually get a divorce with me or something.
Are you serious right now? Are you actually worried that he's going to play that card? Fine. I guess I have to give you a little bit of a tip. There's something I've learned in all my years of marriage. A guy will accept anything that you do to him, as long as you're putting out in the right areas.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is you giving him a little bit of a reward. You know what I mean, right? Maybe you're no longer a cushion for him to rub against. Maybe he's the one for you to rub against.
Are you trying to say that I should please him sexually and then he's just going to accept everything that I do for him?
Of course! Trust me, how do you think I've gotten this far? Do you think everything I do is based on luck? Of course not. I'm a very cunning woman. I know what I'm doing. And when I say that, I mean that in every aspect of life. I mean it in my marriage, and I mean it in my parenting life. I especially mean it in my business life. I'm on top of everything. You can trust my advice. It's never going to do you wrong.
Okay, I guess if I'm a little bit more forward with my husband, he'll be more forthcoming with giving us that money.
Right! Exactly. Just give it a go. You'll see. He's going to find out about the money and he's just going to ignore it like it didn't even happen. As long as you're doing a proper job of keeping him happy, he's going to stay out of your hair.
Hey, Ben. I'm just checking in again. It's been a while since we spoke last. Have things been improving? How's things with the wife? You know what? Better yet, how's things with work? I just want to know that your head's in the right mental state. Oh, hey. How are you doing, Rob? Thanks for checking in on me. It's great to hear from you. Look, things are going well so far. Believe it or not, she's not as extravagant as she used to be. I'm starting to get a little more time to myself at home. Wow, that's great to hear. It's awesome to see that things are looking up for you. Yeah, look, I'm sure with a little bit of time, everything's gonna return back to normal. But you know what? Let's not sit here talking about me all the time. I'm glad that you're worried about me, but how are things going on your end? I mean, you were really shocked when I was telling you about that business that my wife was doing. Please don't get mad at me for it. I honestly thought you were giving that money willingly. I mean, you're a big family guy, right? It seemed like the type of thing that you do for everyone. Well, it is something that I would do, actually. If I was actually asked about it, though, I would have given the money without a second thought. But then again, it is $50,000, so that does seem absurd. I had a good talk with Ellie about what had happened and why it's not appropriate for her to do that type of thing. And not only that, get this. She's actually being really affectionate lately. I was so surprised. I guess me telling her what to do kind of increased the attraction for me or something. Wow, are you serious? I would have expected the opposite to happen. Like she would hate you or something. So, how have things been then? Well, let's just say I can never catch a break with her. I mean, it's non-stop every night. I'm actually finding it hard to get to sleep. She keeps waking me up for it. Wow, you say that like it's such a big issue. Let's face it, you're actually really happy with yourself. I can imagine your glum little face right now. Well, look, it does have its perks. I'll be honest about that. I'm just hoping that this isn't some sort of calm before the storm. I mean, the way our dynamic is lately is just perfect. We understand what each other has to do, and we're really good at keeping each other happy. I would even say it's the best that my marriage has ever been in. That's fantastic stuff to hear. I can only hope that this just keeps up for you. Thanks, man. Oh, by the way, I'm really curious about that cafe your wife is trying to run. Has she shut it down yet? Is she still operating? Well, as far as I can tell, she's still operating. She told me that she managed to get the funds to keep it in business. I guess she got some customers coming in. It might actually be taking off. Wow, are you serious right now? A place like that? I find that really hard to believe. I don't mean to look down on your wife or anything, but do you actually think this is a good business decision? If I'm being honest, it's not the type of thing I would go to. But you know how my wife is, right? She hangs out with an interesting crowd of people. I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that actually enjoys the type of service that she's offering. Really? I guess this world continues to surprise me then. Anyway, you know what? We're both very busy men. So we should just get back to it. I won't hold you up all night, Ben. Yeah, thanks, man. If anything happens, just let me know. I have to say, it's really good to have someone that I can talk to. Someone that understands me.
Okay, come on. Stop acting like a baby right now. Is this really the way you want to behave? You're making such a big deal out of this thing. I don't know why you're acting this way. It's so childish.
Shut your damn mouth, Ellie. Don't talk to me about my behavior. I don't care how I act. Any guy would be unhappy with the type of wife that would actually steal money from her own husband.
How could you phrase it that way? This is meant to be our money, right? This is meant to be the money that we use together. I'm not stealing it at all. I'm actually offended that you would look at it that way. Especially after everything I've been doing for you recently.
What have you been doing for me recently? Ellie, you think that just being a little bit more affectionate in bed means I'm going to accept anything that you do? Like, honestly, get real. I'm not that type of shallow guy. I stick to my principles no matter what. When I told you that there was going to be consequences for the next time you use my money, I meant it.
What do you mean, stole your money? Where's the proof that I've stolen your money?
Are you really going to take that attitude with me? You thought you were so smart, didn't you? Before you were just transferring money directly to your sister's account, but I put a stop to that. You found a new way to give her money, thinking I wouldn't find out. But I've really caught you out now, haven't I?
Oh my God. You still think that I'm giving her money? You're delusional.
Am I really? I've already talked to her husband about things. It's amazing that whatever money gets withdrawn from our account has the exact same deposit into their account. He's been watching it the whole time. Anytime we get money taken out, they get money put in. It's quite obvious that you're still trying to fund her cafe.
Oh my God. You guys are just too smart for your own good. I don't know why you all have an issue with this idea. I mean, we're doing the right thing, right? She's chasing after her dream. She's trying to be more than just some woman that looks pretty and cleans out the house. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But to whose detriment? I think you two need to realize that it's not about our lives anymore. We have children now. Ben and I actually care about what's going to happen from this point on. We care about what future lies for our children. We're not going to do things to put their lives at risk, even if the idea of an EDM cafe is exciting and exhilarating. It's not as important as creating a future for those kids.
Well, look at you talk. You think you're so righteous, don't you? You don't think that maybe we're also doing this for the children? I mean, we're really trying to start off a fun and exciting business here. We have every intention of it earning a lot of money. Where do you think all of that money is going to go? I mean, sure, we're going to take a little slice of the pie, but we're going to give some to the kids as well. Don't think we're only doing this for selfish reasons.
Do you even know what business partner you have right now? Do you even know what she's been doing with the money that you've been giving her? I'm telling you right now, not all of it is going into her business.
What are you talking about right now? Of course it is! Where else would it be going?
Well, I'm sorry to break this one to you, but Ben has been doing a little bit of research into his wife. Even though he only has a precious amount of time when he comes home, he's been investigating what she's been doing.
Well, that's good, because he should be able to tell you how hard she's working.
Not quite, I'm afraid. She's been going out at night gambling. She's been blowing half the money that you've been giving her. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about all the money that we have just disappearing into some machine?
Oh my God. Are you serious right now? There's no way that she's doing something like that. She can't be doing that. It's my sister. I trust her.
Well, maybe you trust her a little bit too much. Anyway, I'm done with you guys. I'm not having any more money taken out of my account. I'm getting this divorce, and I'm taking the kids too. I don't care what you say about it.
Yeah, well, fine. Why don't you just leave then? Just go if you think that's the best thing for you. You're actually doing us a favor. In reality, you and Ben just keep getting in our way. I mean, you just don't understand how we feel about this. You can't see the brilliance in the thing that we're doing. We'd rather try and do this thing on our own without your help. And you can take those damn kids as well. I'm sick of having to raise them in the first place. You're gonna be sorry for losing such great women like us.
The only thing I'm sorry about is that I didn't realize you were this cruel in the first place. I mean, you really don't have any care for the children, do you? Not you or your sister. I made a big mistake marrying you. Hopefully I can turn things around now. Good luck with that stupid cafe of yours. You're really gonna need it. Those two were still stubborn about their cafe. They still deluded themselves that it was actually going somewhere, that it could actually become something. It's amazing that they still thought that way, regardless of the fact that they were missing an income from both of their husbands. Just how were they going to pay for the upkeep of that place? Well, Becky had the amazing idea that she would win big at gambling. She thought because they had such a bad experience that the only thing that could happen from this point on was everything was going to go up. They poured all the money that they had into a wild night of gambling. They had high hopes, but they lost every single penny. As you can imagine, the business shut down shortly after that. Now that the two of them are out on their own and with no job, they had no choice but to come crawling back to their husbands. They thought that we were going to be merciful. They thought that a damsel in distress was attractive and that we'd actually take them back. Unfortunately, Ben and I were sick of our wives. We were sick of the fact that they didn't have the littlest bit of concern for their children. They were too selfish. They only cared about what they wanted to do. And there was no way we were going to let someone like that back into our lives. So we flatly refused them. Told them that they have each other now, so they should try and make it out there on their own. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot that they could do, and they both ended up working in a massage parlor. They thought they were going to earn a lot of money there because of how attractive they were. But Becky's brainwashing wasn't enough to prepare them for the reality of what would happen. They were the least favorite massage therapists there. No one wanted their hands on them. The only time they ever got work was when everyone else was sick or busy. They finally got the reality check that they weren't as amazing as they thought they were. Now they're just barely earning enough to get by on their own. As for me and Ben, on the other hand, things were quite different. We just lost our wives and we had kids that we needed to take care of. We weren't sure what to do at first, but we realized that we both had a common goal. It's a little bit of a weird situation, but him and I decided to move in together. We're kind of two dads looking after two sets of families now. It actually has a really good dynamic to it. We wish that at some point we're going to have some wives that are going to help us take care of these kids. And who knows, maybe we're even going to have some more kids. But in the meantime, I'm just happy that my children have some other kids that they can hang out with after school. I'm really happy that Ben's kids have gotten off the iPads as well. We're slowly starting to bring them back into reality. It's really heartwarming to see the kids outside playing in the summer heat, splashing water at each other and shooting each other with water guns. It makes up for the hard day at work that I have to endure every day. I am enjoying every day as a father, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to see more content.